Well, I'm deciding to rip off one of Mr. Epsilon's ideas and make a video while I drink a particular beverage. Is this one particular beverage that I enjoy more than others? Beer? I decided to make beer time or 40 time, one of the two. Not exactly sure yet. Anyways, what am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about beer and the drinking age and how it got fucked up by our government, marijuana, and the prison system if I get around to it. So yeah, hope you guys bear with me. And cheers to my new subscribers, cheers to my old subscribers, and cheers to anybody watching this video. Alright, let's get into it. Okay. So you may be wondering, why am I going to talk about the drinking age? Well, it's because of the fact that it has something to do with the driving age and the whole legalization. The whole reason the drinking age is 21 and not 18 anymore. And you guys wonder, well, I wasn't alive for when the drinking age was 18. Neither was I, but I've heard about it. I learned about it in history class. No, not really. But anyways, back in the day, the drinking age was 18, and this all has a point. Back in the day, the drinking age was 18 for at least beer. I'm not sure if it was the same for alcohol, but you could get beer if you were 18 or older, so on and so forth. And then all of a sudden, some douchebags came out with a study, and this study said that 18-year-olds to 21-year-olds were irresponsible drinkers and drivers because people from the ages of 18 to 21, or to the point to which they turned 21, were more likely than any other group to get behind the wheel while they were intoxicated or get into accidents while they were intoxicated. So our government, being the shining beacon of intelligence that it is, decided, you know what? We're going to fix a problem. You know how we're going to fix a problem? We're just going to make it so everybody has to be 21 before they can drink. And this is just going to work. It's going to fix everything. And then it didn't. Because of the fact that the government tried to force people to be responsible. And true responsibility, if anybody knows anything about anything, comes from yourself. Comes through a level of maturity, understanding what's right, what's wrong, what you can do or should do, and what you shouldn't do, and what you shouldn't do. I was gonna look for another word to add on to that to even out, but fuck it. What you should do and what you shouldn't do. It comes through levels of maturity and understanding. But the government tried to force people to do it. And what happened was, it didn't actually do what they thought it was going to do. What it actually did was just make a whole bunch of 21-year-olds a whole bunch of irresponsible idiots. Because now we have something called Alive at 25. And what is Alive at 25? Alive at 25 is a group that's dedicated to helping kids get to the age of 25. Because at 25, you know what happens? You are less likely to get in an accident than you were for the first 4 years previous. So let me explain this to you. I did a study from the ages of 18. They did a study that showed the people from the ages 18, 19, 20, 21 were irresponsible drinkers and drivers. They were just irresponsible. They were just irresponsible. They didn't do it well because of the fact that you had the ability to drink and you had the ability to drive for about 4 years, and then you eventually come to a level of responsibility, realizing that it's not good to get behind the wheel while you're intoxicated. But instead of the government looking at it from a psychological standpoint, is saying that people actually have to learn how to be responsible, and we really can't fix this, or if we can fix it, we can probably figure out a better way than just raising the age limit on drinking. But the government's not that smart, so they just raised the age limit. And then what happened was it just turned a whole bunch of 21-year-olds to a whole bunch of turned 21-year-olds to a whole bunch of irresponsible douchebags. Because now, from the ages of 21, 22, 23 to 24, you're more likely to get in an accident. You're more likely to get in an accident or get caught drinking and driving than any other group within the whole spectrum of ages. So what it pretty much says, it takes about 4 years to be able to drink and drive responsibly. But instead of the government actually addressing it as such, they actually made a law and completely fucked everything up, and now we have irresponsible 23-year-olds and 24-year-olds. But now, when you turn 25, it drops off significantly. Just like back in the day when you turned 21, it dropped off significantly. And it just shows you how when people try to force people to be responsible, it really doesn't work out. And what is true responsibility if you're being forced to do it? Because responsibility, I think, has to do with the person's own self, about their own actions and how they interact with certain situations. That's being responsible. Being responsible, not having someone like doing your job is not responsible, so on and so forth. Helping an old lady across the street is responsible, so on and so forth. You know, I just think that there's a difference between the two. Yep. And that brings me to my next topic, marijuana. I was talking to my dad today about marijuana actually, and how I was talking about how it really needs to get legalized, and the government kind of fucks up a whole bunch of shit. And it was actually pretty funny to me that my dad brought up the point of like the gateway drug. And I was just like, the gateway drug argument is complete bullshit. And just to begin with, because the only thing marijuana is a gateway to is the black market. It's not like you do marijuana, then you want to go out and do heroin. It's like you do marijuana, and the dealer that you're getting the marijuana from has heroin. That's why it's a gateway, because it's a gateway to the black market. If you legalize it, you take people out of that black market mindset, or those black market connections, and you bring it to a consumer connection, which has no reason to be a gateway to anything besides marijuana. I mean, I live in Colorado, and we have medical marijuana, and stuff is a lot better right now. But there's a problem, and what is that problem? That the government makes a shit ton of money locking people up to do certain drugs like marijuana or anything else. I mean, the drug laws are just fucked up insane. And the war on drugs, we lose it every year because of the fact that we lock up more people from drugs than the year previous. How are you gonna have think about that? Think about being a war for since Nixon. Yeah, since Nixon. Okay. So think about having a war since Nixon, and every year more people die. Eventually you're gonna run out of people, but for some reason we don't ever stop this. I mean, the government is not winning the war on drugs. The population is not winning the war on drugs. The only thing the war on drugs is doing is making the government rich by making people pay fines, go to jail, and a whole bunch of other stuff, and making the rich richer by pretty much taking people out of a certain level of the echelon and throwing them in prison. Okay, how can I put this? If you take a person and you throw them in prison, you're gonna dehumanize them, and you're turning them you turn them to bigger animals, so on and so forth. And after you dehumanize them and bring them back out in society, they're not really rehabilitated because of the fact they've been living in prison for a year or however long. I would say they've been living in prison for years. And that's a completely microcosm in the lifestyle of any average American. It's like no other lifestyle that you would ever think. So how are you actually going to expect a dude coming from prison to actually be able to be rehabilitated in any normalistic manner for the rest of society, or with the rest of society? You don't. If you really understand it, you don't expect them to be normalized to the point that they actually get rehabilitated. But you know what? Let's just say for the sake of argument, that 50% of the people that actually do get out of prison don't want to commit any crime ever again, which statistics shows that's pretty much bullshit. But anyways, what was I gonna say? Let's just say that 50% of the people that get out of prison don't want to commit any crime ever again, and they don't commit any crime ever again. The thing that you do to them that makes it so that they're kind of fucked is you put them in prison. You make them a felon. And what is on any job application you ever filled out? Criminal history. So after you fill out the criminal history, so on and so forth, they're automatically not going to be able to get a lot of jobs. And so you take a big group, a big portion of the population, and you make it so that they have to be like on the McDonald's economic system, meaning that they have to be on the minimum wage pay system to make any money within this country. So generally, even if these people do want to work and do want to be reestablished within the country, so on and so forth, they can't, because they can't make any real money. And you force them to go back to a life of crime due to the fact that they can't make any real money after getting out of prison. So that's the slave system, which I call the prison system. It's pretty much a circle. Like recycling, it's recycling convicts, or recycling people. And the system loves it because of the fact, it makes it so certain people are just going to be out of the population, and that, how can I put this? It makes it so that certain people won't have the ability to actually make it within this population. They won't have the ability to actually make money within this economy. And if you don't have that, if you don't have those people making money in the economy, that means that a whole bunch of rich people can make a lot more money within the economy. So it just helps out the rich and it helps making the rich richer. B, it gives a group of people a sense of superiority. This group of people, people who don't do drugs and aren't part of the prison system. Because when you feel better than someone else, you're a lot more likely to go along. Wait, if you feel like you're better than someone else and the authority system tells you you're better than those people, then you feel like, you know what, I like that authority system. Why? Because of the fact that they're feeding on your ego, or they're feeding your ego. And that's pretty much what our country does, or America does, by pretty much saying, you know what? The people who do drugs, so on and so forth, they're scum, they're shit, you know, whatever happens to them, they deserve it. But you, the person who doesn't do drugs, so on and so forth, that doesn't drink over the excess amount, so on and so forth, you're good, you know, you're A-okay. And we like you like this because you're awesome. Now, those people, they're scum, you know, you don't need to worry about it. You guys would look at them and laugh at them and will think that, you know, they're crap because, you know what, they are crap. And you, my lovely American, you are awesome. You're the greatest thing that ever happened to me. You're the greatest thing that ever happened to me because without you law-abiding citizens, what would we be? We would be savage, barbaric people, like those people down there, because you know they are savage and barbaric, so on and so forth. And what this pretty much does is it gives a certain group, the majority of people, feelings of superiority and thoughts of superiority, and it gives another group just the level of just crap. And it helps the system run because when a person is just blindly accepting what the government is saying, like, yes, yeah, you know what, I am pretty awesome. Thank you, government. I'm awesome. You know, thank you for telling me that and reminding me of that. It allows the government to get away with a lot more shady shit because they're just, like, blindly accepting what the fuck's going on without actually thinking about what the fuck the government is actually doing to them. And it works out like that, and a whole bunch of other fucked up shit comes about because of stuff like that, and it continues like that because a lot of people are ignorant and not responsible with the information that they're gonna gain. So yeah, I guess that's my beer time. 11 minutes 41 seconds. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Cheers, and keep it real. And I guess I'm gonna give you a little like fun fact of information after I'm done with my little sippy sip. Okay, fun fact of the day. Marijuana was first legalized in 1937. It was legalized by the Stamp Act of 1937. The Marijuana Stamp Act of 1937. And how did it legalize it? It said that you needed to have a stamp to gain marijuana. But if you had marijuana, you could go to the government to get a stamp. The catch-22 was that in order to get the marijuana, you had to have it. And to have it in your possession previous to getting a stamp made it illegal. So if you had the marijuana and wanted to get a stamp, you would get arrested, so on and so forth. And if you didn't have the stamp, if you don't have, you couldn't get a stamp for the marijuana unless you had it in your possession. In order to have it in your possession, you would have to break the law. So people got arrested for bringing the marijuana to get stamps. And the reason it was legalized was to actually produce a level of racism and stupidity. And what you may be wondering, what do you mean racism and stupidity? Well, we can all agree in 1937 there's racism. But what happened was the government wanted to make Negroes, I'm going to use the term Negro for the time period. The government wanted to demonize Negroes. What they said was that marijuana, not cannabis, marijuana crazed Negroes to the point that they would develop superhuman trait, rape white women, and kill people. Now that's an anti-drug commercial. Don't smoke weed, you'll rape and kill people. Like, that was funny. But they said that, and they used the word marijuana, which is a Spanish term for cannabis. And they used the word marijuana because white people at the time knew what cannabis was. They enjoyed cannabis, and really didn't see a problem with it. So they used the term marijuana to confuse people. You know, 1937's propaganda machine. You know, at work. Wow, I hope that I didn't make this too long. Didn't ruin my video because of you with this last information. Anyways, so after that shit, it got illegalized because people were scared of Negroes, you know, developing superhuman strength, raping white women and killing people. So they legalized marijuana. And yeah, wait, and it really wasn't legalized. Oh, for sure. It really wasn't legalized. Like I said, it was pretty much. Sorry, my dad. And happy Father's Day to all you people out there. All the fathers out there. Okay, what was I going to say? Yeah, so they really legalized marijuana. And then I think eventually there's a point in time that it was actually got to the point to which marijuana was legal for a time period because of the fact that I think they came to a point where they said it's unconstitutional to have this certain law. The Marijuana Act in 1937 is unconstitutional. And then Nixon came along and was like, fuck that shit. We're making marijuana a Section 1 drug, which is the ability to have highly addictive tendencies, I think is the terminology that they use for it. I know my shit. But yeah, and now we have marijuana being illegal. We get a whole bunch of black people getting locked up for it, and a whole bunch of other people getting locked up for it. But marijuana is impossible to overdose on. I mean, you don't throw a person in jail for years and top of years because they try to commit suicide. So why would you throw a person in jail for harming themselves, doing something that they do in their personal time and with their personal interests? Well, just doing something within their personal time that doesn't affect anybody. Why do you throw a person in jail for that? It just makes me wonder, you know? So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is beer time or 40 time. Still not sure what I'm going to call it. But yeah, thanks Mr. Repsion for giving me the idea. And this other person, Dexterity Bonus, I think is her name. She has coffee time too. So I'm not sure who I'm ripping the idea from, either Repsion or her or possibly someone else. But yeah, this is beer time. Hope you guys had a good one. Hope you guys learned something. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And rate, comment, subscribe. I'm not sure what the boxes are. Everybody does this, so why not? I'm gonna be a part of the flock. Rate, comment, subscribe. And cheers, bitches. Keep it real.